Can I tell you one quarterback who was brash, especially coming out of college, with the way he plays, the way he carried himself? By the name of Baker Mayfield, He went #1 too. Now all of a sudden, there's a problem with having confidence in yourself. He's not brash, it's about having confidence. It's believing in yourself and believing in the work that you've already put in. The resume speaks for itself. Turn on the film.
Now with reports about arrogance and brash, it's all nonsense. They're just trying to take shots at primetime Deion Sanders. Maybe Shador Sanders walked into the quarterback room and instead of being somebody acting like he would be lucky to be a part of your team, he was acting like somebody who feels you should be lucky to have him.
No one in this draft class brings more noise, more pressure, or more controversial opinions than Shedeur Sanders.
When you go back and study tape, the tape doesn't lie. Never lies. And I came away saying, wow, he's got some tools.
Raised by Coach Prime and built for the spotlight, Shedeur has the numbers, the leadership, and the swagger to back it up. So why is his draft stock slipping? Critics question his arm.
Like people saying he doesn't have the greatest arm. Okay, his arm's good enough. And not only did he put up numbers, but he won.
Others question his attitude.
Brash and arrogant is what they said about Shedeur Sanders.
In the top 7.
No doubt about it. That's the quarterback.
That's why I know I'm the best quarterback out there, because I've done it and I proved it.
But if you strip away the narratives, what's left might just be the most NFL-ready quarterback in the entire 2025 class. Because this is what they aren't telling you about Shedeur Sanders. As the son of one of the biggest and most talented personalities the NFL has ever seen.
My dad had us grow up, privileged a little bit all up until one point. Then he moved us to the inner city. So then that's what got us that dog mentality. That's what got us like, it's do or die. You got to make it out. Damn. So that's how, so he threw us right into the fire,
Shedeur Sanders was always going to find himself in the spotlight. His actions tell the story of a player stocked full of confidence and pride, but he's not the diva everyone makes him out to be. As a 4-star recruit, he chose Florida Atlantic over prestigious programs such as Alabama, Georgia, and LSU because it was more important to him that he played for a black head coach. And look, he undoubtedly carries himself with a lot of swagger and I'm sure has made a lot of enemies along the way, but that begs the question of, if you want to be great, don't you want your star quarterback to play with a little bit of an edge, no? Truthfully, it was one of the things that made Baker Mayfield such an exciting prospect when he went first overall. Ultimately, it is the talent that matters the most, and if Sanders can deliver wins to the struggling Giants or Browns franchise, I bet you they'll be absolutely fine with his personality. Regardless of how important Sanders' attitude is to scouts in their evaluation process, one thing that cannot be denied is his ability to win on the gridiron. His journey of footballing success got underway at Jackson State, having decommitted from FAU when his father, Deion Sanders, took the head coaching position at Jackson State. Shedeur quickly earned the starting job ahead of his freshman season in 2021, tasked with re-energizing a program that has managed just one winning season from their last 7, not including the reduced 2020 COVID campaign. Winning was not something Jackson State fans were accustomed to, at least until the Sanders arrived. As a freshman, Shedeur completed 65.9% of his passes for 3,231 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions, while posting an 11-2 record. It was a breakout performance in year 1, but he was only just getting started. Building on the momentum of his debut season of college football, Sanders improved as a sophomore to complete 70.6% of his passes for 3,732 yards, 40 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions, all while leading the Tigers to a perfect 12-0 regular season record. He played with a surgeon's precision and rarely made the kind of backbreaking mistakes that you would expect from a quarterback across their first 2 seasons at the college level, completely transforming the culture at Jackson State in the process. Unfortunately, a celebration loss to North Carolina would end the stellar sophomore season on a downer, but Shedeur didn't go down without a fight, completing 75% of his passes for 349 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Having turned Jackson State into a dominant force in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, it was time for the Sanders duo to try their hand against some tougher oppositions. So, along with Travis Hunter, they packed their bags and took over the Colorado Buffaloes, another struggling program that had just one winning season from their last 6, and were coming off a dismal 1-11 campaign in 2022.
It's going to be a different place, a different feel, a different attitude, a different energy, a different work ethic, a different want, a different hunger, a different desire, a different need, a different capacity. It's gonna be a different reach. I'm coming. See, by now you better feel it. You can feel what I'm saying. You can feel where I'm coming from. And you know I ain't playing because I got the credentials to back it up. I'm coming. Boulder, Colorado, you have no idea what you've blessed me with, the opportunity that you've given me, and I feel like I owe you. So every day I'm gonna work for you. I'm gonna strain for you. I'm gonna develop for you. I'm gonna commit for you. I'm gonna do the things that others wouldn't do. Baby, we're coming.
Another culture reset was needed, and the Sanders once again made an immediate impact, turning over the heavily favored TCU Horned Frogs in the season opener.
That man next to you is a go-getter. That man next to you is a dog. That man next to you is somebody who wants this thing. That man next to you is somebody who believes. That man next to you is somebody that gots to have it today. We ain't got next. We got now. We ain't coming no more. We here. We here. Since y'all know we here, give me my theme music.
TCU had competed in the national championship game earlier that year and entered the game as 20-point favorites, which is why the nation was so stunned to watch Colorado defeat them 45-42.
We told you we coming. We told you we coming. You thought we was joking. And guess what? We keep receipts. God bless you, America.
Many had questioned what the Shador Sanders experience would look like now that he had upgraded to FBS football, and this early introduction could not have gone much better. He completed a whopping 80.9% of his passes for 510 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Almost instantaneously, Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, and Coach Prime were the hottest names in college football, and they stayed that way for the next 2 seasons. Over 2023 and 2024 combined, Sanders put together one of the most impressive statistical stretches in Colorado football history, passing for 7,364 yards, 64 touchdowns, and just 13 interceptions. He also averaged a completion percentage of 71.5% across these 2 seasons, which is made more impressive by the fact that he was constantly facing immense pressure as a result of his terrible offensive line.
I'm a product of kind of what I had to adjust to.
I know your pass protection sucked. I'll say it for you.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I like my old lineman though. I still love my old lineman.
I know you
for
do.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes we wasn't all on the same page. So
right.
It's something that you can't coach. Like, yeah, I would. Of course, I want to take 3 in the hits. But if that's not the situation you given, then you gotta make something happen.
Yeah.
It was in the 2024 season that Shedeur Sanders made his strongest case for being a high-end NFL quarterback. After entering the season behind the likes of Quinn Ewers and Carson Beck, Sanders proved himself with immense poise and toughness, taking a beating behind that poor offensive line while still being able to complete 74% of his passes. This was the highest completion rate in the nation, yielding 4,134 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions, and producing the Buffalo's first winning season since 2016, not including the reduced COVID-affected season in 2020. He tossed at least 2 touchdowns in every game bar one, including a standout performance of 438 yards and 5 touchdowns in a 52-0 beatdown of Oklahoma State. For his efforts, Sanders was named the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year and was awarded the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award. And don't get me wrong, because those accolades are extremely nice, but his continued success had far bigger implications. With the likes of Quinn Ewers and Carson Beck faltering in 2024, Sanders found himself rocketing up draft boards to the extent that he finished the season as a consensus top 2 quarterback in the 2025 draft class alongside Miami's Cam Ward. Both players had separated themselves from the rest of the pack and offer completely different skill sets, which is what makes this pre-draft process so fascinating. Like in Cam Ward, you have the creative gunslinger who likes to take risks, whereas Sanders is the typical pocket passer who thrives on reading what the defense gives him before picking you apart on short and intermediate passes. Don't get it twisted though, because the dude can throw the ball deep as well, as we saw in plenty of the games this past year, and on top of that too, has enough athleticism to extend plays and be just as creative as Cam Ward does when he wants to. The X factor that Sanders has over everyone else in this quarterback class though, in the skill that gives him such a high floor, is his accuracy. In addition to having the highest completion percentage in the nation last year with 74%, PFF also gave him the highest adjustment completion percentage with 82.5%. And for anybody that doesn't know, adjusted completion percentage accounts for all the things that are outside of the quarterback's control, such as drops, throwaways, spikes, quarterback hits, and more. So ultimately, that gives the truest representation of completion percentage. And it's telling that Shedeur comes up on top with a simply superb 82.5%. Accuracy is the name of the game for Sanders, though, and it's not just the case of finding his receiver for receptions, it's about how he finds them. Leading his receivers when there are yards after the catch opportunities and protecting them when throwing them into traffic. It's this elite ability that will make Shedeur so popular with his teammates and what gives him such a high floor in the NFL. According to Reception Perception, Sanders' success rate against man and zone coverage comes in far higher than his rivals in the 2025 draft class, such as Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, and Jalen Milroe. He posted an 81% success rate against man coverage, where none of his rivals surpassed 76%, and his 90% success rate against zone coverage significantly eclipses the 82% that his top rivals top out at. And now look, these are going to be all things that NFL coaches and NFL scouts love to hear. And on top of that too, the fact that he's been in an offensive system where he's worked with an NFL coach in Pat Shurmur makes his reputability that much better of why he should be taken either as the first quarterback or at least in the top 5 maybe. Like, I think that was the cool thing about really watching Sanders this past year is that Colorado doesn't really rely on RPOs as much as a team as like Ole Miss, or I mean, hell, even with the headset, I'm sure that Lane Kiffin was in Jackson Dart's, or sorry, is it Lane Kiffin? Whoever the Ole Miss coach is, that he was in Jackson Dart's headset till literally they cut him off, just trying to tell him where to put the ball once the defense was set up. So, I mean, just having the ability of seeing what Shador Sanders can already do by actually having to make reads besides just simple RPO reads is going to be very special. And we even saw it this past year, which was awesome. Most importantly though, Shedeur Sanders has already displayed, or at least showed us, that he can make pre and post snap reads, which is something you have to do as a quarterback in the NFL. Like, those are going to be the fundamentals that Shedeur Sanders basically has to make a living off of, especially when you have a guy that can't have the arm talent of a guy like Cam Ward that can bail him out of situations if you misplace a ball or throw a ball late. Like, many people talk about how he doesn't have a cannon arm and lacks the athleticism to be that ultimate creator, but his sharp football brain and elite accuracy will counteract that. I mean, look at the quarterbacks like Brock Purdy and Geno Smith, for example, and at the very high end, Joe Burrow. None of them are renowned for their strong arms, instead earning their success through elite processing and accuracy. And on top of that too, he can certainly still make some plays with his legs, showcasing more than enough ability to improvise and pick up crucial downs as a rusher. Like, of course, you would love for your quarterback to be able to throw the ball deep every single play, because why wouldn't you? I mean, you want them to have that strong arm, but if they can make up for it in different parts of their game, it's really not that big of a deal. Not only that too, but I mean, it's not like we didn't see Shedeur Sanders throw the ball deep. He can throw the ball deep when he needs to. Like, I mean, PFF charted him as having 1,184 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 1 interception on 20-plus yard passes, which earns him a 94.8 PFF grade on such throws. As crazy as it sounds too, Cam Ward actually has almost the identical stats, earning a 95 PFF grade on 20-plus yard throws with 1,148 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. And now look, I think the most just polarizing aspect of Shedeur's game, and everybody knows what I'm going to say, you can say it with me, is the amount of sacks that he took at Colorado. And yes, I'm sure we can put a lot of blame on that Colorado offensive line. They were not spectacular. But at the same time, Shedeur Sanders certainly does deserve a little bit of that blame, I think. His 37 sacks in 2024 were 5th most in the nation, and his 49 in 2023 were 2nd most. One of the areas that he needs to improve on is understanding when to take the easy check down or simply get rid of the ball, because taking too many negative plays is a recipe for disaster at the pro level. However, as crazy as it sounds, there might be a positive thing about this, because the high sack total also tells us something else about him, and it's that he's one hell of a tough competitor. Like, I mean, his ability to consistently get back up and continue delivering at a high level is a trait that you simply can't teach. It's made even more impressive too by the fact that he had a turnover-worthy play percentage of just 1.3% according to PFF in 2024, which is the 3rd lowest among quarterbacks who played at least half the season, and that's exactly what you want to see from your starting quarterback. In contrast, Cam Ward has a turnover-worthy play rate of 3.3%, reflecting his far more aggressive gunslinger approach to the quarterback position. Where Shedeur is your in-structure, accurate quarterback, Ward fits the mold of quarterbacks who like to get creative and make plays, which inevitably leads to taking more risks. It means the upside can be sky high, particularly in the league that is being led by the likes of Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen, but he will need to learn to be more calculated with these risks. The highlights are great, but throwing back across your body into the waiting arms of a defender is a surefire way to wind up your coach and land you on the bench. Ward also finds himself behind Sanders when it comes to reading the defense and adjusting to what they show. Of course, there's no reason to believe that he can't pick that up when working with NFL coaches, but it is a less translatable skill and one that has led to the demise of many similar quarterback profiles, with the likes of Zach Wilson being a recent example. Ultimately though, the lack of arm talent and imposing athleticism may cap the upside of Shador Sanders, but his advanced quarterbacking fundamentals make him a very enticing option at the top of the 2025 draft for quarterback-hungry teams. If he can land in a spot that has a good offensive line and weapons to utilize, it is very easy to see him having success at the pro level, and if he can cut down on sacks and improve his creativity a little bit, then the ceiling is absolutely there. While he might never be the one-man wrecking crew that has become so coveted in the NFL in recent years, his understanding of the game and how to beat defenses suggests a long and successful career is ahead. Add on top of that the boom or bust nature that comes with Cam Ward as a prospect, and it would be no surprise to see the perceived safer pick in Sanders ending up as the best pick in the long run.